guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 5 young adult romance books. I leave them here. Hopefully I remember this time. Of what they look like. They range from friends to lovers to fake relationships to opposites attract, and there's lead singers, and guys, check them out if you want to. The links are down below. Welcome back to my channel. Today is a fun video. It has been a long time since I have done a tips video. I actually used to do them a whole lot when I first started out my channel, and I've just kind of like fallen back on that. I just really haven't felt like I had many tips to share. But today is a collaboration video. So this video today is a collaboration with Mel Franca. I will leave her channel linked down below. She is a teen author. Very awesome. I am so excited to be doing this video in collaboration with her. She is going to be talking about the tips for growing your audience as an indie author. And I have a tip in there as well. So definitely go check out that video. That's also going to be linked down below in the description box. But today I'm going to be sharing my top tips for writing consistently and how you can do it and what are some ways that I do it, as well as sharing a tip from Mel. So if you guys are interested in learning some tips about how to write consistently, keep on watching. But before we hop in, don't forget to hit the like button on this video and comment down below what is one of your top tips for writing consistently. Or do you struggle with it and you needed this kind of video to give you some help? Let me know down below. Let's do this. Writing consistently, it's hard. Mostly because I would say almost all of us have life going around us. Like, we have jobs, we have significant others, we have kids, we have parents, we have school, you know, so many things. So many things and different elements that are constantly changing. Like, kids throw you for a loop, partners throw you for a loop, school, jobs, you know, everything is constantly changing. Sarah, chill it with the hand motions. And it can be really hard to write consistently. But here are some top tips to hopefully help you out in that department. Not all of these might work for you. Some of them might not. But I hope you find at least one that helps you kind of be a little more consistent with your writing. Tip number 1, plan in advance when you can write. Planning things out in advance is a good idea because when you purposefully block out a section of time to do something, you're more likely to do it because you know you have something to do in that amount of time. And you're not going into the day wondering, will I even have time to write today? Because you've already planned it out in advance. So it takes away that stressful element of finding time to write because in advance you've already found the time. And you don't have to do it every day. You can do it 4 days a week, 5 days a week, 3 days a week. Consistency is key, but it doesn't have to be every single day. Tip number 2 that could go in conjunction with that one is write at the same time every single day. Or, you know, not every day. Now, this might not be possible for somebody who has an ever constantly changing schedule, but writing at the same time every day ensures that you do have that chunk of time blocked out and it builds a habit. Kind of like brushing your teeth. You know when you're going to brush them, so it just becomes a habit that you consistently do and then you consistently have time for. And writing every day can be that habit for you. Tip number 3 is have a writing routine. Maybe you need to get you some water before you start writing. Maybe you need to light a candle before you start writing. Having a developed routine kind of eases your brain into the position of, okay, this is writing time, we're getting into it, rather than sitting down, opening up your laptop and staring at a blank page because you feel like, oh, I literally had no time to prepare for this. Having a routine kind of gets your brain into that mindset. For me, my routine is definitely to light a candle. I love lighting candles. I think there's something so warm and awesome about them, especially since I smell good. And it's also to listen to some music before I start writing. Something about music puts me into the headspace to start writing. Are you guys the same way? Because I have to listen to music when I write. If it's like quiet, I will be distracted by the slightest of noises. Like there's bugs outside. Can you hear them? I'd be so distracted. I wouldn't be able to hear myself think. But the whole writing routine part of it, it's really nice to listen to some music beforehand so I'm not sitting down at a blank page with music suddenly in my ears that it's all so overwhelming. Kind of easing myself into that process really does help me get into the mindset. And when I'm listening to good music, I get really inspired. This is another tip that I absolutely love. It is using time goals instead of word count goals. Word count goals can be so daunting. Like you sit down, like, okay, I'm gonna write 3,000 words today, you know, and you're really confident about it. And then like 2 hours goes by. It's like, oh, I've only written 500 words, you know, because sometimes scenes just don't flow. And I think the whole key to writing consistently is you kind of got to put the word count on the back burner and focus on the time spent. Because that's the whole thing about being consistent. Consistency isn't exactly word counts. It's time spent. I know for me, whenever I push myself for big word count days, like let's say I did a 10K day, usually the following 3 days, I don't touch that work in progress. I'm so exhausted. I'm like, man, my brain is spent. It's a goo. I can't work on it anymore. That's typically how that happens for me. I think that's an important thing to remember when you want to write consistently is to kind of focus on the time you're doing it rather than the word count goal. Because even though the word count goal I feel like is a little bit more fulfilling for me anyway, because when I see that big word count for a day, I'm so excited. But it's not always the best in terms of consistency. So set time goals instead of word count goals. Like say you want to write for 1 hour every day. That sounds a bit more doable than writing 1,000 words every single day. And that kind of leads me to set small goals every single day. If you're not the kind of person who likes to plan out things in advance, this could be a good one. When you sit down for the day, think about how you're feeling. Reflect on how you feel about the manuscript, how you feel emotionally and mentally, and how much time you want to dedicate to this work in progress. You might not be able to get to it right away, but think long term for the day. So if I'm having like an off kind of mental day, but I still know I want to write, I'll say, okay, you know what? I at least want to write for 30 minutes today. Or if you want to do the word count goal, I at least want to write 250 words today. You know, for me, that's kind of something small, but setting the small goals each day can be beneficial because each day it might not be the same thing. You know, you might not be able to do an hour every day. Reflecting on where you're at each specific day could help you build your writing routine and your writing consistently, but it also helps you to keep in touch with your mental health and your emotional health so you're not pushing yourself further than what you need to be pushing yourself to. I am so bad at pushing myself too far. I feel like I talk about it a ton in my vlogs. I set big goals, and sometimes big goals are not a good thing. So setting small goals the day of, so the day you want to do it, could be a good idea. Instead of saying, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna write 10K. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna be feeling tomorrow. I could wake up with a monstrous migraine. Who knows? And then I'll feel disappointed in myself because I don't hit my goal. That's not good. So setting them the day of could be what works for you. Quick break between my tips and let's jump into Mel's.
My name is Mel Torrefranca, and I'm a YouTuber and young adult author from Northern California. And I actually use the word vomit strategy to write my books. So all of the books that I published so far, Leaving Wishville and Capsule, as well as my works in progress, have all been written in the course of 1 to 2 months. Well, the first draft, not the entire book. Editing usually takes a while. The first month is when I do a majority of the writing, and I usually have a very strict word count goal. For example, in the case of Leaving Wishville and Capsule, my goal was to write 50,000 words in 1 month. After that, the second month is dedicated to finishing the actual storyline. So let's say I finished those 50,000 words, but the story is still not complete. I still have to write the climax and the end. Those parts are still missing. That's what I'll focus on for the second month. So the second month is a bit more lenient. The whole goal is just to wrap up any loose ends, fill in any missing parts of the story, and then finally complete it. The ideology behind this method is to just get it all out onto the page, hence the term word vomit. And I think that this is a great strategy for perfectionists. Many authors out there, including myself, tend to struggle with constant revisions and second-guessing certain scenes and getting stuck in the same loop of edits over and over again without making any actual progress. I like to think of the first draft as making the clay and the editing process as shaping it. Once you finish that first draft, it's not going to be pretty, it's going to be just some blob, but at least you now have a first draft that you can start to turn into something beautiful. If you only have a tiny bit of clay, how are you going to make a vase? I know the word vomit strategy isn't going to be right for everyone, but if you struggle with some of the same issues that I mentioned earlier, such as perfectionism, overthinking, or maybe you've just been working on your first draft for a really long time and you feel like you're never going to finish it, then I highly recommend you try it out. But anyways, let's bring you back to Sarah.
What number am I on? Fudge. And I'm gonna move forward onto this and put it on your to-do list. I asked on Instagram if anybody had any tips for writing consistently, and I saw somebody say this. They said, if I don't put it on my schedule, it doesn't get done. I think this person was Tessie. And I love this. Whenever I write down my to-do list, because I don't do them every single day, I always put writing on my to-do list. Like I wrote this list the other day, and writing is on it because writing is important to me. And if you're the kind of person who lives by lists, putting it on a to-do list could be as simple as that. And it kind of goes hand in hand with setting small goals every single day. So if you're a person that sets to-do lists every single day, setting that small goal for writing could be good for you. Get an accountability buddy. Accountability buddies, guys, we love them. I have a lot of friends who are great accountability buddies. I have Amara, I have Anne, I have Maya. I have so many awesome accountability buddies who always check in with me about my writing. And like this month in August, I'm doing a challenge with Maya, and it is to finish my draft 2, and we check in with each other. She's better at it than me because I'm a forgetful little person. but if you're the kind of person who doesn't like to let people down, I'm that kind of person, it could be good to have an accountability buddy, somebody to just kind of hold you accountable and say, hey, have you written today? And you could just tell them, hey, can you just ask me every single day if I've written, if I've gotten anything done in my work in progress? And that alone could be a huge help for you. It doesn't have to be another author. It could even be your parent if you want them to just say, hey, so-and-so, have you written today? And you'd be like, oh, no, but I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go right now. I'm gonna go right now, right. Next tip is to utilize writing sprints. So you have 15 minutes. You have a pocket of time. You're lying on the couch, okay? You're watching YouTube videos. You've been scrolling through TikTok. You've been scrolling through Instagram. You're just sitting there. All of a sudden, it hits you. I should be writing. It's tempting to just keep scrolling. But I challenge you, in those little moments, utilize writing sprints. Or say you have 15 minutes before you have to do the next task on your to-do list. Like you say like 15 minutes before your kids get home from school, or 15 minutes before you have to go to work. You could totally take that 15 minutes to yourself. No shame in that. But if you want to get your writing consistent, you could always take those pockets of times and do writing sprints. Or if you just want to get your writing out of the way for the day and say, hey, check that off the list for today, utilize writing sprints. I feel like I am so good under pressure. I am like so good. I'm the procrastination queen. So when it's at the last minute, boom, so good. So writing sprints are really good for me. I kind of tend to like the 15 to 25 minute range. Anything longer, it feels more like a writing session than a writing sprint. When that timer's ticking down, my fingers are flying because I know I only have a certain amount of time to do something. And I find it really beneficial for my writing journey. I host them a lot on my channel. If you haven't ever attended a live writing sprints live stream on my channel before, I do those a lot, but I find them really beneficial. And even doing them on your own is super helpful too. Like, okay, I've been kind of slacking today, but I'm gonna start the timer and I'm gonna go hard. Final tip, it's gonna sound strange, but don't forget to take breaks / days off. Nobody can write every single day. Writing consistently doesn't mean writing every single day. Writing consistently means you just have a habit, you have a schedule, or you are consistently opening up your Word doc. It doesn't mean you have to do it every single day. And honestly, I recommend that you don't do it every single day. You don't want to get burned out of your project. And going at it every single day can be too overwhelming, and you can get to a point where, oh my gosh, I don't even want to look at this character anymore. So taking breaks, super important. It's something I suggest implementing into your schedule. That way you don't get burnout and the pace that you're going at is steady and reliable and potentially easy to duplicate. There you go, my friends. My top tips for writing consistently. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment down below. Which tip did you like the best and which tip do you implement? I'd love to hear. And thank you so much to Mel for this collaboration video. Don't forget to go check hers out. It is linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Sarah Sutton. I'm an indie author of 5 young adult romance books, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hydration is important, friends. There's a hair in my mouth. There it is. Got it. So if you guys are ready, it's been a long time since I've done a sit-down video like this, you guys. I'm gonna get my groove back. So if you guys, oh, stupid chair. So if you, Shucks. What the heck?